Okay. This is a little Yakima horse filly that came in a couple days ago, and it just now started settling down. Sometimes it takes more, it takes a few days sometimes before they settle, and you can't really do a heck of a lot with them. If they're real anxious and worried, I've spent a little bit of time with this horse, touching it like that. What we're going to try to do is, we're going to try to put a halter on it today. And we'll see what we can do. First, I want to touch this. I want this thing to touch my deal. Then I'm going to touch it. If they'll stand still and let you pet them on the face with your stick, you're real close to getting them caught. And what I want to do is I want to pet her up the forehead. Right there. Yeah, good. Her head came back, so she didn't freak out. I'm not going to try to go to her shoulder or anything. What I really want her to do is just look at me and let me pet her. I catch a lot of these horses in stalls. I rope a few of them also. If she starts bouncing off the walls like a pinball machine, well, you kind of have an idea that what you're doing is making things worse. And what I'd like for her to do is just every time she looks at me, I'd like to pet her. And a stall is a small enough area where you can make that happen. You gotta be safe. Don't get tangled up in here. Her rubber jaw. Jaw's an endorphin trigger. If you can rub her jaw and get her to releasing dopamine into her brain, there's a trigger on each jaw that directly releases endorphins into her brain. And I want her to look. I want to pet her. I want to pet up her face if I can. There you go. If I can pet her up the face. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. Every time she looks, I just pet her. It's not a speed event. And it's really hard to not get in a hurry. You think, oh my God, she's right there. I can just flip that rope over her head. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'd like to catch her without doing that. But I've done it. If I have to, you have to. What we'd really like for her to do is help us a little. There, she's looking. Now I'm going to pet her. Now I'm going to back up a little bit. And one of the reasons that I use this stick instead of trying to just do it all with my hands is this stick puts my body about 4 feet away from her. The closer I get to her with my body, the more pressure she's going to feel. But if all the thing that's close to her is this stick, we can take that part of the pressure out of the equation at the beginning. There you go. And this little horse came from Yakima. I don't know if it's a rescue or if it's a Yakima Mustang. I got no idea. It doesn't really matter. We danced with who we took to the party. There. If she'll let me pet her up there between her eyes, it's just a little bit further to her ears. There. And we just try not to get in a hurry, but we want to make progress. They got to get better all the time. And we don't want her bouncing off the walls in here. Because if this doesn't work, we'll try another method. She reached out, she touched it, I'm going to pet her. I'm going to pet up here a little bit further. There. There. All I'm doing is I'm presenting this here. There. She looked, I dropped it that time. There. And there's all kinds of ways you can do this. I'm going to try an experiment here. All I'm going to do is reach towards her hindquarters. I'm just going to reach there. When she looks at it, I'll drop. One step closer. Reach toward her hindquarters. If she looks at it, I'll drop. If she moves her left front foot towards me, that's great. If she doesn't, that's okay too. Just don't get yourself kicked. I want to touch her here. There. As soon as I touched her, I pulled it away. So now she has two options. She can let me pet her on the nose. I can pet her on the nose and then the jaw. Or I can reach back here to her hip. I don't want to scare her. I want her to look at that if she will. There, I'm going to pet her. Once again, don't get kicked. Don't attack her. They can read your intentions, you know. So if you go in here and you're going to make her do this, well, she might have another idea. She can tell if you're going to war or if you're going to sit down and have a peace meeting with her easy enough. They could tell that before I ever came out to the barn. I'm going to touch that jaw and rub it. There. And believe it or not, she will get addicted to having her jaw rubbed. She'll like it. Now she's looking away. I'll pet her when she looks at me. Now she's looking away again. I'm going to reach over here to her butt. Once again, you got to stay safe. I just wanted to pet it. And I rubbed it just a little bit. There. Now I'm going to try to touch her on the shoulder and back. There, just like that, in passing. I didn't do anything with that touch except take it away. There. And she's got a favorite spot, I'm sure, already. She can let me touch her here because I did this with my hands a little bit. And the owner, I think, could pet her on the face a little bit. I'm going to reach up here and rub that jaw. Good. Reach up here and rub that jaw. Good. Reach out, touch that shoulder. Now rub that butt. There. That time the contact lasted longer. Rub that jaw. Pet her. There. 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 Now she's real curious. There's my finger. I'm rubbing her back. I want to rub her butt. Then I'll take that off. I don't want to get her fired up. And then you got to watch you don't get kicked. You got to read them. And this style, this way of catching one, about anybody could do this as long as you're patient. I rub her jaw. If I can rub her jaw, if she takes a step back, that's all right. I'm gonna pet her butt. She works herself into a frenzy, slow it down again. And that little bit of a fit that she threw right there could escalate pretty fast. There. There we go. Because as far as I know, she's never been touched like this. I don't know if you can see that or not with the camera, but I'm rubbing her withers. Now I'm going to rub her neck there, and I'm rubbing her nose and her neck at the same time. Now I'm rubbing up here by her pole. I'm just going to rub her. No problem, no big deal. Now I'm rubbing the bottom of her ear and that jaw at the same time. No big deal. Don't try to make it more than it is. There. My little stick came apart. Probably need to put a little more tape or something on it. It's no big deal. I'd rather have it come off than get hung up. Once again, this is an exercise in patience. Now when she looks at me and settles down, I'll start back over again. She looks at me, I take it away. Take it away. She touches me, I touch her. Now I'm going to walk up here and pet her on the shoulder again. Up the jaw, there's that shoulder. Just let that sit there. Just let it sit there. When she turned her butt to me, I laid the stick on her butt. I didn't hit her. She's not in trouble. And I don't know I don't know anything about her history other than she came from Yakima and she's really young. And she came out of the feedlot there. So she's either a rescue or a Yakima Mustang. I don't think they're branded. Now I'm scratching her back right here and rubbing her butt. If all I get done today is her letting me pet her and not get fired up about it, we've got a lot done. And I'd like to pet her and have her not overreact. If I can pet her and she just responds to me, we got a lot done. Now when they start getting fired up like this, back up a little bit and get them to look at you and start over. Go back to petting again. There. Rub that jaw. The reason we let her relax and start over, she's got practice at being touched in the spots that we have touched. She doesn't have practice being touched in the other spots. There's plenty of time to get that done. You don't have to get it done. She doesn't have to like everything. We just have to get her liking the things that will help us help her. If she looks at me, I'll drop it. Then I'll go in here again. She looks at me, I'll pet her. I'm getting a little quicker about petting that face now. Yeah. Pet that butt. Pat that face. Pat that butt. And remember, your stick's only 4 feet long and her legs are about 3'6". That might come in handy here. And if you wallow up there too much, you might just get to see her feet real close and personal. She's licking and chewing. She hasn't died yet. She might come to the conclusion that I'm okay. I'm going to reach back here and pet that shoulder again and take it away. If I could have got that away before she moved, that would have been better. My timing was off a little bit. We'll reach out here, get her to look. This whole thing is based on if she looks at me, she's in control of the pressure. She's not in control of the pressure if she runs off. So when I laid my stick up there and petted her butt while she walked away, she wasn't looking at me. So I didn't reward that touch at all. I just touched her there. So she's got some practice being touched there. Right there. Remember, she's in control of the pressure if she's looking at me. If she's not looking at me, she's not in control of the pressure. There. There. So if she doesn't want her butt touched, and pretty quick it ain't gonna matter, but if she'd rather have me touch her face, she will keep her face pointed to me instead of her butt. And I didn't hit her. I didn't have to hit her. We have to put ourselves in her shoes just a little bit. I mean, we got to understand that she'd been in a pen and treated like a feedlot steer. And she don't have no practice with anything human at all. So she's got to have practice with the human to get good with the human. And that would be a travesty if her first exposure to this was throw a loop around her neck, make her face up. There's nothing wrong with that method either if you know how to handle the rope. What I'd like for her to do is let me slide this stick over her head. And not panic. We can expose them to things without overexposing them. When they get overexposed, they panic. And if they panic, can't learn nothing except how to fight. There. I'm going to step in there. I'm going to pet that butt. I just petted the butt. I didn't hit it. If she's going to face that butt to me, I'm going to pet it. But I'm also being very aware and backing up at the same time. I don't want her to learn how to kick me out of here. But I do want to pet that there. Now she's looking at that. Horses can only think of one thing at a time. So I'm here rubbing this butt, and she looked at it a little bit. There. Rub that jaw, take it away. I'll just go to petting her. Pretty quick, that each spot that I can pet is going to be her whole body. And if we don't have a halter on, but I can pet her all over, that's certainly going to help us in the long run, isn't it? This isn't a speed event. And we're just working with the mind. We're trying to show her that we're not a threat, and she can relax and get petted at the same time. And there's no flag on here. Sometimes a person could put a flag on the end of one because the flag gets their attention. If you know how to use the flag where it doesn't threaten them, that'll work too. But there's a time and a place to touch them. And there's a time and a place to back off. Feel, timing, balance. If she's not going to look at me, I'm going to pet her butt. There, she's looking at me. She's licking and chewing. I'm going to pet her back. See if I can get her to look at me again. Touched it, I touched her. I'm going to see if I can pull her to me instead of having her turn that way. If she had come this way, then that means I'm not as big a threat to her as I was at the beginning. There you go. Look for those spots where she's paying attention to you or she's not. Because when she's walking around here and she's not looking at you, you're invisible. Horses can only think of one thing at a time. Now she's looking at me. I petted her with her finger while that stick was touching her butt. All we're trying to do is convince her we're okay. There you go. Now I petted her with the rope while I was petting her with the stick. See if we can rub a little hair off of her while she's standing here quiet. She's not used to me being on the other side. There you go. And if you're reading these things, if you're looking at them and paying attention, if they're getting overwhelmed, you need to back off. Because you might think you're making progress because you're touching them in a place you never touched them before, and all you're doing is getting close enough to get your clock clean. Because you got to watch what they're like mentally too, not just physical. There you go. What I'd like to do at this stage, where she's there, I would like to be able to rub her until she stops without chasing her. Just rub her. Remember, they can only think of one thing at a time. There you go. There. There. Good. There. I'll rub her with my my rope again? Yeah. If I could rub her and get her to stop, then when we get this rope over on the other side of her and we start rubbing, we got a chance to get her to just stop instead of crashing around in here like a pinball. I'm gonna go in here closer until she notices me. I'm gonna pet her. Good enough. Not every touch has to be a place that she's never been touched. We can use these spots here that we're building. That stick's right there. She looked. She ran into that stick. I didn't hit her with it. I would like for her to be okay on both sides. That'll happen. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna drop that string and then pull it to me. You watch when they're doing that stuff, like chewing or kind of crawling through looking like a mouse trying to crawl through a hole in the barn. They're worried. Don't chase them through there. Hi, baby. Yeah. Rubbing her with my string on the nose. Let her chew on that a little bit while I rub her with my stick. Good. Now I'm going to drop this string again. And all I did was, when she quit looking at me and focused it on me, I took the pressure away. She can't control the pressure if she's not looking at me. There. She's looking square at me. I'm going to pet her. Good. 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 Now I'll back off. And I've got her mind starting to come to me. There's her face, yes. I'm going to pet her with my string. So she walked over here to me. She drew to me, which is the opposite of running away from me. I'm going to rub her with my string some more. I'm going to rub her with my stick some more. Yeah. Hi, baby. And I'll leave her alone for a minute. I don't want to change her world. I want to modify it. Hi. There. There. So since we're in her stall, I don't have a problem with letting them settle for a second, getting a bite of hay or a little drink. This is so foreign to them, you might as well make it a good deal. Yeah, rub that jaw. There. There. There's my string. Yeah. Rub her back. I want her to stop. I really thought that I could rub her butt and get her to stop. I might have got a little greedy, and that can happen. I try not to. There we go. Hi. That's gotta feel good. But it don't take much for these It don't take much for these wild ones to think you're chasing them. And we sure don't want to chase them. There, now she's experimenting and exploring that string. We're getting a little hair off of her. That's got to feel good. And I'm the one doing that. She's got to appreciate it. Eventually she'll become addicted to it. Now that was a minute of pretty good. I'm gonna let her settle, see if I can draw her to me again. She's sitting over there thinking. If I've got any draw built in, that left front foot will come to me. There, just like that. And I'll pet that nose with my string. Yeah. Pet that nose with my string. Now I'm going to pet that shoulder with my stick. There. There. And rub up that neck. Remember, we're building to get to the halter. So there's a lot of things that we're doing that are specifically geared towards the halter. There. We're getting more and more nonchalant about this. I'll drop that stick. There. That time she didn't panic. She just walked around because she knew it was going to come off. That's from touching her and letting her walk out from underneath that. Everything leads to the destination that we've got going on, as long as we're doing things that will help us accomplish our goal. Now I'm going to rub this nose. There. And if you'll look, it gets to look more and more like putting on a halter. But we're going at the speed of this little horse. There. There we go. Now I'd like to pet underneath her neck. And a lot of these little bit wilder ones, that scares them quite a bit. Underneath her neck, pull it away. Because if she's been out someplace that's got snakes, stuff underneath her neck in that blind spot are not her favorite. Go to that shoulder again. That's where I want to catch her anyway. There. I want to catch that neck. There. She's jumpy, but we proved to her that's all right. We just don't want her to panic. Now the string's down. Something new. There. Hi. And there's probably faster ways to do this. But I know this way's quiet. There. And then she comes over and gets a pet. Now if I can get this string this way, it stands to reason that if I went in reverse, I could get the string to go the other way. First we got to get this okay. I want to try to leave that string up there until she stops and looks at me, if I can. I don't want her to panic. Right there, pull it away. Yeah, now I'm going to rub her jaw again if she'll let me. Rub under her chin. That's where the flies bite her with, we don't got no flies yet, but That's a good spot to pat them, but they can't see it too good. Hey, baby. Yeah. We'll drop this over that hip and bring it off. And the extra time that we're spending right here, it's just going to make her better. It's just going to make her better. Underneath that chin right there, that's good stuff. I'd like to be able to go here, over that hip and towards me. Yeah, rub that back. Yeah. Hi. There you go. I'm scratching that back. Push this string over a little bit. Like I said, it might take a little longer this way, but it's going to keep her on this side of trouble the best we can. Yeah, rubbing up that neck with that string over there on the other side. There. There. There you go. There we go. Now, the string is on the other side of her somewhat. I'll over it and bring that to me. So what we did there was we put that loop over her butt. Ah, she didn't like that. So now she's looking at me. She gets to choose. We're not going to take away who she is. We just want her to keep getting better. There. Now that string's over here. There. We try to get it far enough over where that string will stay a little bit. And then rub. I'm trying to rub just a little bit on the downside of the other side of her neck right now. Yeah. And if she tucks in, if her hindquarters comes to me, I'll go over on this side. There. And the more hair I get on this rope, the more she thinks it's her anyway. Yeah. Now the rope's on the other side of her, because I went up over her head, and I just pulled it off. I hope you can see that with the film. We rubbed her nose. Now we rubbed her eyes. Try again. There we go. There, under her neck. I'm going to rub her jaw. There. And I'm going to pull that string to me. If we can keep her from getting afraid, she'll get better and better and better. And there's plenty of time to teach. What we want to do is we want to show them the things they need to see when they need to see it. That's the recipe to training horses. What they need when they need it. No more, no less. I'm going to rub that nose. Now I'm going to rub this shoulder. Now I'm going to rub that neck. I'll take that up over the top. And rub her belly again. Rub her back. I just want to rub her here for a minute. I'm looking at the expression on her face, and she's trying really hard. I'm gonna rub this shoulder if I can. There. There we go. There we go. Rub that neck. There. She can see that rope and that string in the end of that stick over there on the other side of her. She can see that. Just rub her neck some more. See what she thinks of that. Got a little bit stuck right there. Underneath her chin. Up this way. And over her head. Yeah. Yeah. When she can hold her ground while I pet her, we can show her more things. But she has to hold her ground when she gets petted. There you go. Rub that neck. There you go. I'm trying to rub the bottom of that right side jaw. My stick is, I'm kind of putting it right there. Now I'm under her jaw. Good. Now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to pet the top of this neck. Go over that back. There. Good. Rope stayed on that time. Yeah. Now rub her nose. There we go. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Rub that jaw on her neck at the same time. Rub that ear in that jaw at the same time. There we go. Rub that top of her neck. There, she brings it across. Lift up. Go. There we go. And we're just going to keep rubbing her until she relaxes. We're not in no big hurry. If I can rub her all over without a halter on her head, what's the downside to that? There. There. I'll grab this string again. Rub her neck. There. Feels good to her. A really important part of this is if they start to get scared, you need to realize you're going too fast. But also, if they start to get scared, you can't get scared. That'll just make the trouble bigger. Don't get scared. Stay calm. There. There you go. Yeah. If you stay calm, when she gets to that lucid moment where she looks at you and sees that you're calm, she'll calm right down too. You get what you give, folks. And if you're in here all panicked, well, she's going to panic too. Strings right across her butt. There. And repair and pet her again. Because even though we think that we need to catch her right now, that's not what she's thinking. And her opinion matters. Now we'll keep doing this. Oh, as long as she's getting better every day, we'll keep trying to catch her this way. If we reach the point where it's not getting any better, well, we'll just flip a rope around her neck. But this way here, if we keep doing this, it's going to get her to really trusting us. And if she really trusts us, then we ought to be able to do some good stuff. Now I got a rope on both sides of her. I'm going to rub her neck. She's licking and chewing, and I'm just rubbing her neck. Now we already know that if I pull too hard, the end of this stick will come off. Right. So we'll take the stick down and we'll say, hey dude. There. We'll try to get to the shoulder. There. So this stick just helps me teach. If I can touch her with a stick, I know I can walk up and touch her with my hand. Unless me being too close to her scares her. There, 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 there. There, there, there. I'd like to draw her to me. I'd like for that left front foot to step to me. I'll get her where I can pet her. And you still have to be careful. I mean, she doesn't have a lot of practice being touched. So she could swing over here and try to bite, or she could jump up in the air and try to kick. When you get a little instant where she looks at you and relaxes, go away for a minute. We can come back. There. There. My fingers. Remember, we're trying to get to the halter. There. Yeah. Now I'm petting her on the neck because I got to slide that rope over her neck. I'm going to rub up and down her neck. My fingernails. Your fingernails are kind of a cool thing. They kind of dig in just a little bit when you're scratching them, and that feels good to them. You go to that shoulder and rub that neck. This is the same place that Mom used to rub her when she nursed. All right. Rub that jaw. Be prepared. As long as you keep a body part between her and you, your self-preservation instinct will keep you from getting a bone broke, your face or your chin. But when you reach out there, now I'm scratching that withers. Oh, that feels good to her. I'd like to bring her to me a step. Most important thing, I suppose, is you want to stay safe, and you don't want to be afraid. You don't want to be nervous, because if you're nervous, that makes them nervous. I'll put my finger in her mouth. Not too much luck that time. There. Scratch that neck with a little bit of authority. There's a middle spot on her neck where there's a nerve cluster. It's the Bill Dorrance magic spot. There. Rub that shoulder. Rub those withers. Come up and touch that face. If she hadn't came in here like this, I would have went up the neck. But since she came in with her face, I made sure I touched her face before her face touched me. There. There. Rub that jaw. If I get her addicted to that endorphins, there. Now I'll go to the magic spot. Massage that neck right there. If her head comes to me, there. I'll back off. All of these things that we're doing are headed to the halter. All right, Paint. There, there, there. Let's see if I can pull her a step to me. Right there. That's the beginning of draw. Draw is your friend. Now I don't want her to come up and nip me. Sometimes that nipping is she's wanting to groom me back. Sometimes that nipping is leave me alone. You gotta read them. You gotta read them. Now we're going to try an experiment. That's all I do is experiment anyway. I'm going to rub her with this just like it was my stick. There. So this rope now is like the string that was on my stick. Yeah, how you doing? How you doing, huh? How you doing? How you doing, huh? So if I can rub her here, and get a little more over there. I'm gonna rub her shoulder, slide that up further. I'm gonna back up a little bit. There. Right. Take that up her neck. Yeah. Right. And that's okay. She touched the rope with her feet. She didn't panic. Like I said, we're just preparing her for to get the halter on. I don't want her afraid of this rope. I don't want her afraid of me. And I'm not going to force her. I'm not going to just walk up here and say, hey, you get over here so I can put a halter on you. I'm going to ask her. Then I'm going to teach her. And every time this rope goes on and comes off again, that's more practice she has with the rope. And they got to get practiced at something to get good at it. I'm just going to rub her here. This is the same thing we were doing with the stick and the string. under her chin. Yeah. Now I'll rub over here to her shoulder. There. 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 Can I pull her to me again? There. Hi. Can I pet her shoulder again? Yeah. Can I pet her shoulder again? Yeah. Same thing that we did before. I want her to look. There. I want her to look at me. There. There you go. And if you can do this 10 million times and not scare her and get her better, one time you're going to do it and it's going to be fine. But if you get in a hurry and scare her, you may never get this opportunity again. And you'll have to go to a different way of doing it. And I kind of know, I'm pretty convinced that she's not going to kick at me as long as she's got someplace to go. And whatever her idea is, she doesn't trust what I'm doing, but if what I'm doing over and over and over again doesn't really hurt her, she'll get to where she does trust what I'm doing. I'm going to scratch her here. There we go. There. Looked at me, I'll leave her alone for a second. There, rub that jaw. Yeah. There you go. Rub her shoulder, withers. There you go. Rub that neck. Get this rope. Remember what we did with that stick and string. You scratched her neck with this rope. Now I'm going to hold her. I'm just holding. I'm going to scratch her neck. When she looks at me, I'm just going to go back to rubbing her neck. There. I'm going to hold her because she's looking away. When she looks at me, I'm just going to pet her neck with this rope. I'm going to walk up here. I'm going to hold her. I'm just holding right now. I'm not pulling. When she looks at me, I'm going to scratch her neck. There. Just like that. I'm going to scratch her. Take that rope a little higher. There. Scratch her jaw. Scratch her shoulder. There. Scratch her neck with this rope. I'd like for her to look at me. I'm going to ask her. There. I'm going to pet her. There. I'm going to pet her. Looking for her left front foot. Almost. I want the left front foot to step to me. Yeah. Remember, we're getting to the halter. So I'm rubbing her face or I'm rubbing her neck. There. Rub her face. There. Drop that down. Rub her neck some more. She's leaning away from me. When she looks at me, I'll go back to scratching her face again. Scratching her neck. Now I'm going to stop. I'm going to walk up here and pet her. There. Scratching that withers. Scratching that neck. There's that magic nerve cluster right here. There, rubber jaw. Remember, that's an endorphin trigger. Can I get her to step to me with her left front foot? Left front foot. Left front foot. Let her explore that. Let her look at it. Left front foot. This will be the first time. There, she moved it. Pet her. But that's the first time that somebody said, hey, you need to move a certain foot because of pressure on your neck. So if I put that pressure on her neck again, there. Now it's all the way around her. What I'd like for her to do is just take one step to me with her left, there, just like that. And she gets a pet again. Now I'm going to put pressure on the right side of her neck, and I want her left front foot to come to me again. Right? Almost. Left front foot. There. There. Right there. Pet her. Hold. Back. Now I'm going to hold her when she's trying to get away. I'm going to pet her when she's soft. There's my halter nose band, and there's my halter under her neck. I need the left front foot to step to me. That's good enough. I'm going to pet her again. No. I want to hold her. Put that halter rope over her nose again. There. Pet her. Yeah. Rub that jaw. Rub that neck. There. Right. Right. We'll wait. Every time she get there. Better. Well, that's probably all we're going to do with her today. We'll get to the halter tomorrow. Left front, there, pet. Yeah, good girl. Now I'm going to take that rope off. Same way I put it on, only backwards. Now I'd like to pet her one time before I leave. Rub her on the jaw, rub her on the neck, rub her on the withers, rub her jaw again. Pretty good first day. I hope that helped.